Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 21. The second to last episode of Attack on Titan Season 3, guys. Damn. This is kind of insane. I think, honestly, I think what we need to do right now is we just need to soak up these last two episodes, because honestly, I think it is definitely going to be a while before even before the anime ends up returning, if at all. Like, I know it's kind of up in the air in general as to whether or not it's going to return, but yeah, just for that reason alone, I think we just need to soak in these last two episodes more than anything else. So with that being said, the episode starts where it left off. And the first major detail we get is we learn why Grisha came to reside inside the walls, and how he got his Titan powers, which is that he inherited from the Owl, or Ehren Kruger, as we learn his full name is. Which, yeah, that in itself is kind of a funny twist of fate, and how Grisha ended up naming his second son after a man he initially hated, but inevitably came to respect once they were given the opportunity to simply drown out all the bullshit and just talk with each other as regular human beings. So yeah, that's in itself kind of another funny twist of fate. But in another way, another funny twist of fate about this is that Kruger ended up passing his power on to Grisha, because he, in a lot of ways for pretty much the exact same reason that Grisha passed on his powers to Ehren. It started like a chain of passing on the powers, and for the sole reason of wanting to find pretty much an answer to the problem that this world is facing, that violence and war and just everything just kind of seems to repeat itself over and over again. Kruger passed his powers on to Grisha for that reason. He wanted him to hate the world, but he wanted him to continue hating the world in order to find an answer. And Grisha wanted Ehren to do the exact same thing. So his son Ehren to do the exact same thing. So yeah, it's a funny little twist of fate in that way. And in many respects, when it comes to this episode, it did really well at just showing us that Kruger was the living embodiment of how blurred the lines in this conflict actually are, because he basically said that everything he did was in order to help his people and the Eldians, but really just in the way he says everything in this episode, it felt like he was just trying to convince himself of that, and that he didn't even know who he was anymore. And with a little detail like that, it's one of those things where I definitely can't directly speak for those who've actually experienced it, but with Kruger's character, it feels like he very much has something akin to basically genuine PTSD that basically a soldier would go through after being through countless wars, countless fights. Just it feels like Kruger, he's genuinely like he's been through so much, and he's fought so hard that it's that pretty much the lines between the lines between who he should be fighting against and who he shouldn't be fighting have kind of blurred. And again, I definitely can't speak for those who have gone to war or been through war, but it genuinely feels like pretty much that of what a soldier would feel, for sure. Now, with this episode, this episode in itself, it had a lot of great reveals and great details revealed. And with this episode, we learned a very key detail about the powers of the Titan Shifters, which is that being one actually takes a heavy toll on the person as who's inherited the power, which we've basically already seen with Ehren, with the way his nose bleeds constantly. And because of that, there's basically actually a limited number of years that someone can remain and be a Titan shifter before they need to pass on the power. But in either case, whether the person who is a Titan shifter ends up passing on the power or not, death is assured either way because no one who's inherited the same power as Ymir can live longer than her. And this is one of those reveals that really makes you realize that being a Titan shifter is just as much a curse as being transformed into regular Titan. But having said that, it also makes me wonder. Like this episode also made me wonder if Ymir hadn't, like, Ymir pretty much with Ymir, when we see her writing that letter to Soria, she pretty much accounts how she probably isn't going to be alive after that. So obviously at this point her power has been passed on. But it makes me wonder if Ymir had survived longer, I wonder if she would have lived longer than any of the other Titan shifters or not, or if she would have lived the exact same time. It just kind of brings forth the imagination of what exactly could happen here. But we also get the reveal that as far as the founding Titan's power is concerned, you can actually inherit more than one Titan power, but one Titan power. Although the real question is that what the chances of success are, because with Ehren, I get the feeling that the fact that he has this founding Titan power, I think he may have lucked out with basically gaining its power, with controlling its power the way he's been doing, and with all this reveal of the time limit of how long a person can remain a Titan shifter, I just gotta say, poor Mikasa. Like, that now, like the fact that Mikasa has learned all this, she is internally. She is agonizing over the idea that both Ehren and Armin are basically set to die at some point in time now. But I'm sure for her she's obviously thinking a little more about Ehren than Armin in this case, and with Ehren, obviously it's probably even worse. And I'm kind of having these funny images in my mind now of just kind of thinking of numerous scenarios now where Mikasa is just so distraught over this now that she is going to take any chance she can get at Ehren. Well, like, I can just imagine Mikasa kind of like sneaking into Eren's bedroom, practically pouncing on him, and shouts, "You, me, a baby now! You pump a baby into me now!" Like, I know it's again, the whole prospect of Ehren dying is obviously tragic for her, but it's like just the comedy that can arise of her just wanting to fuck Ehren now is like, oh my god, you definitely know that Mikasa is gonna want his Titan dick now. Like, yeah. But yeah, just poor Mikasa, honestly. Like, obviously, you can tell that she's the one who's going to be suffering a lot through this. With that being said, with that being said, like I said, like I said before, we pretty much get the reveal in this episode that Grisha was of how and why Grisha came to Paradise, as well as how he got his Titan powers, which is that Kruger again. He basically gave Grisha the powers in order to locate the founding Titan, which obviously he did. And I'll be honest, in terms of the more I revisit this material in terms of Grisha's side of the story, whether it's anime or manga, the more I revisit this material, it seems that the more I realize the power Eren now possesses as the founding Titan coordinate in itself is not just the key to ending this war going on between Paradis and Marley, but I also feel that the power of the founding Titan or coordinate or whatever you want to call it is the only power that can lift the curse of the Titans from this world and turn everyone who's either a Titan shifter or who is transformed into just a regular Titan, to regular old like mindless Titan, back into humans. Like I think if there's any way of there's any true way of ending this war is for someone to transform everyone who is to lift the curse of everyone who is transformed into Titans back into human. At least that's the conclusion I've come to. I don't know if that's what the manga author if that's what Isayama himself is thinking, but honestly, with the way all this reveal of Marley and Paradis with all this reveal of Marley and Paradis, it seems like the only logical conclusion to come to that, yeah, in order to end this war, you basically have to wipe all existence of the Titan curse from history. That's kind of the only thing I can come to. Now the only real question mark in all this is when we'll reach that point. However, because the series is pushing this connection between Eren and someone with royal blood, and in order to activate the founding Titan's true power. And I say someone and not Historia because I've got this feeling that in terms of that someone with royal blood, with basically Dinah dead, I think the only conclusion we can come to is that I think this is opening doors in order to have a bigger role in this whole thing than Historia. Like Zeke has royal blood in his veins, so obviously if there's anyone who could like awaken the true power of the founding Titan, it would be him. So yeah, I think that Zeke is going to be a bigger part of this whole founding Titan business than his story is, honestly. And again, another huge detail that we kind of already knew about, but just kind of gave us confirmation on, is that there are 9 Titan powers in total, and from there we pretty much figure out which ones they are: the Colossal, the Armored, the Beast, Ymir's power, which, again, based on that letter, we can assume has been passed on by now. The Female Titan, which makes me wonder even more as how the hell Annie's going to fit into the story going forward. The Cart Titan, we pretty much saw we saw who was talking to the Beast Titan, or to Zeke, the Beast Titan. The Founding Titan, an unnamed Titan power. The Founding Titan, which is now possessed by Eren, which is now a power possessed by Eren, and Eren's like base power of the Attack Titan, which, yeah, I can't deny that being the official name of Eren's power was really just an interestingly underwhelming reveal. I mean, it makes sense, but really it made you wonder if the author only named it that because of the title of the damn series. But yeah, like the Attack Titan, really? That's all you got? It's like, okay. Also, one thing I found intriguing about the whole aftermath of learning the secret of what lies beyond the walls is that, in many respects, even though the Survey Corps achieved and learned a lot at Wall Moria and from the battle, it also made the situation go from bad to so much worse for pretty much everyone who's living behind the wall now. Because on one hand, everyone who lives on Paradise Island and who live within the walls have definitely a larger knowledge of what's going on in the outside world, as well as a larger knowledge of what's going on in the outside world, as well as the fact that there's this whole conflict going on. But the fact that there is this conflict going on still to this day kind of makes things what makes things so much worse, because now like the people on Paradise aren't just going to have to worry about Titans anymore. They're going to end up finding themselves in like going head to head and like bumping heads with an entire civilization of people that honestly has a larger military force than they do, and it's and this is with this reveal, it is making their previous conflict with the Titans suddenly seem like small potatoes all of a sudden. So it's like, yeah, in order to even achieve peace, there's definitely a big wall to climb for sure. They've got a lot ahead of them to prepare for, because the people of Marley kind of outnumber the people of Paradise right now. And it's been a while since, honestly, for the most part, it's actually been pretty consistent throughout all these episodes, but in the last couple, it was, and it's been a while since I've last talked about the pacing. Honestly, for the most part, that's only been because pacing has been pretty consistent throughout all these episodes. But in the last couple, it was meandering to the point where I couldn't really nail down where or how exactly the last episode was going to end, was even going to end. But with this episode, I've got a much better idea now. And for right now, we basically need to assume that the opening teaser shot of Ehren on the beach is only going to be part of the ending, and they just might tease us heavier than that. But it's like one of those things where no matter where it ends, I don't know why. I don't know why I can just not let go of this, but with this being the second to last episode and next week being the last episode, I have an even harder time swallowing the fact that Attack on Titan's anime adaptation is stopping for good. It's almost something. It's just something about this just doesn't add up. Like I said before, I think what is going to happen here is probably that while Wit Studios is stopping production, it might be passed on to another studio. I want to, like I said, it might pass on to another studio, and at that point, it's probably going to be Production IG. Hopefully, since Wit Studios and Production IG have this sort of like working relationship. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know why, but it's just hard. Something about this is just nagging me in the back of my head, saying that it isn't ending completely. Something is going to happen for sure. But for now, I guess we're just going to have to wait. Now, one thing I did notice, pacing wise, is that again, for the most part, it was pretty good. Like Attack on Titan has been really consistent in this season 3 for basically how everything has been paced. But one thing I did notice this week is that they definitely cut short a lot of the dialogue involved with the whole scene of Ymir having written that letter to Historia, and I imagine that was because they thought that would have been a better moment in order to let the visuals speak for themselves, which is also understandable, just in the fact that a lot of the visuals that were seen in that scene of her writing the letter, it's basically all stuff we've seen before. So it didn't make. I guess they thought it didn't make sense in order to put dialogue over top of it or something like that. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.